is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's been in the hands of consumers for quite some time now, and I was wondering, what can I possibly show you that you haven't already seen in a review? So I decided just to have fun with this one. Share with you my time with friends, just flying around and having a good time. And now that I have multiple flights underneath my belt, I can give you my honest opinion of what I think about this new drone. So, this is my experience, my long-term review of the DJI Mini 3 Pro.
Hey man, what's going on?
What's up, man? What's going on? Nice to finally meet you.
Good to meet you too, man.
All right, so this is Don from Little Mountain Life. He has so graciously let me visit him to test out my Mini 3 Pro. Now look at this view. All right, so welcome back to the channel. I've had the Mini 3 Pro for about 6 months now. And I wanted to share my experience with it rather than just ramble off a bunch of specs that, you may already know.
That was faster than I thought it would be.
I wanted to pick on the key points that made flying this drone enjoyable. Now, some of this footage in this video was shot in automatic settings without a filter. Now, this is because ND filters weren't available at the time I was shooting, but nonetheless, the footage still looks amazing. So to kick off this review, let's start with the build and design. All right, so here it is.
Dude,
take a look at that, man.
It's so little. It's not what she said.
Yeah, right.
It's not. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
I have one coming to me, and everybody's gotten it before me. It might be here tomorrow, I don't know.
Hopefully. What happened to it?
Apparently there's like a severe weather delay or something, I don't know.
Here's the remote.
Okay. I guess I can work with that. I've never had a smart controller or anything like that before, so I was worried about the screen and the thumbs, but that'll do.
Mm-hmm. Now I gotta admit, when I first saw the leaked photos of the Mini 3 Pro, I thought it was a joke. But after seeing the specs and all the features that are packed into this, small little drone, it made a little bit more sense. And this is crazy because it has a lot of features that rival the more expensive drones, but still manages to come in under a weight of 250 grams. And they do advertise that you can fit this in your pocket, but I don't do that. But if that's your thing, it is possible. It's slightly larger than its predecessor, the Mini 2, and it comes with tri-directional obstacle avoidance with front, bottom, and rear sensors. Now the body is made of a lightweight plastic. It does feel a little hollow here, but it is what it is. If you're trying to cram all this stuff into these drones and trying to get it under 250 grams, you do have to make some sacrifices. Now with that said, this does have a wind resistant rating of 5, which is around 25 miles per hour. I can tell you that it does very well in the wind for its size. I can remember having it out in trying to do a hyperlapse on an approaching storm, and I was still able to get my drone back. It didn't really struggle too much, but keep in mind, this is, 200 to 250 grams, and I wouldn't take it out in gale force winds or something like that. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, it does have a cutout here on the top, which allows the gimbal to rotate up 60 degrees. And it allows, a lot more interesting shots. And also when you're flying in sport mode, when the drone is pitching forward, it doesn't hit the top of the drone, which causes the gimbal to, jerk or jerk down when flying in sport mode. So my favorite design feature of this is that it's just quiet. You barely notice that it's there. It doesn't attract a lot of attention. You can fly in parks, in events or something like that, and no one will even notice that it's there. Once you get this drone up about 100 feet or 75 to 100 feet, you barely hear it. All right, so what's your deal? What's your function?
My function? Well, we're building this house up here. Our channel, Little Mountain Life, is documenting life up on the homestead, up on the mountain. We've got like chickens and ducks, and we've got a garden, and I want to do like pigs and all that stuff someday, but it's really about the house build right now. We've had this Amish crew come down from Pennsylvania, and they built the frame of this house in 9 days.
Oh.
And it's taken me almost 3 years to finish this. So that's what we're up to, just living life up on the mountain.
All right, so it's just you, your wife, and your 2 little kids, 2 daughters?
Yep, myself, my wife, and my little girls. They're awesome, and we weren't sure about like life after suburbia, but it's been worth it. It's been worth the hassle of having to drive farther to get where you're going and all that kind of stuff. But we love it up here.
So you enjoy the drones too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, up here, how can you not like have a drone with you at all times? It's just too pretty to not have one. The content I make is not drone centric at all, but if I could add another perspective, even if I'm just feeding the chickens, I can throw the drone up in the sky and show that perspective and show the garden and the house build project. It helps kind of change it up for the viewer for sure.
All right, so let's talk about flight time. The Mini 3 Pro comes standard with the standard battery, which gives you about 34 minutes of flight time. That's what they advertise, but in reality, it's about 21 to 25 minutes. Now, I purchased the Fly More Plus package, which comes with 2 extra batteries and this charging hub here, which doubles as a power bank if you need it to. The Fly More Plus package comes with 2 batteries that gives you around 47 minutes of flight time, but in reality, it's around 35. I think I was able to get around 35 minutes of flight time based on the way I was flying. There were times when I had a long list of shots that I wanted to get. I was able to get them and still had around 60% battery left and ran out of ideas. So I was just flying around looking for shots. And it is important to note that there's a trade-off when using these. If you're looking to stay under 250 grams in weight, this does put you over 250 grams. So if you want to stay under 250 grams, you will have to stick with the standard battery. And they do offer a Fly More package with just the standard batteries. Now, charge time on these batteries does vary depending on the charger or charging brick that you use. I can tell you if you're not using at least a 65 watt charger, these could take forever to charge. I use my MacBook, charger here. This is a 96 watt charger. And no, I didn't get this idea from a YouTuber out there. Actually, I've been using this ever since I got my Mini 3 Pro. But with this, I could charge all 3 batteries in about, an hour or hour and 15 minutes. So if this is within your budget, I do highly suggest to, purchasing the Fly More combo. It comes with the charging hub, and depending on the batteries that you want, the Plus batteries or the standard batteries, you could get a max of an hour and a half of flight time. So what about the image quality? Now, this seems to be the hot topic on all the drones. The image, the video and photo quality that comes out of the camera. For video, you can record in 4K up to 60 frames per second, and in 1080p up to 120, which is the slow mode. In addition, you get 10-bit color while filming in decent-alike, which gives you a lot more flexibility when color grading. Now, I've flown the Mini 3 Pro in many different locations, different times of the day, morning, afternoon, and at night. And the images coming from this camera is, amazing. And because it has an aperture of f1.7, means it lets in a lot of light, which works very well in low light scenarios. All right, so we're here in Pittsburgh, PA. I am pretty excited to do this and a little bit nervous because this will be my first time actually doing something like this. And it is kind of busy around here. It is a Friday night. The nightlife is actually starting up. It's around 11 o'clock right now. So let's get this drone up in the air. I'm no professional, and my ability to get my settings right for low light and night shooting is still a work in progress. However, I've found that when shooting something like a cityscape, that shooting in manual settings with an ISO no more than 800 gives me the image that I like. I've noticed anything higher than that will introduce more noise to your image, and the lights will look blown out or have too much of a glare. The Mini 3 Pro has a 1/1.3 inch sensor, which is not far off from the sensor on the Air 2S. I'm pleased with the low light video I get for what I do, but others may want something with a bigger sensor like the Mavic 3 or Mavic 3 Classic. Now, where the Mini 3 Pro really shines at night are the photos. It's capable of shooting 48 megapixel raw photos, and it's unbelievable how good the photos are coming out of this camera and how much detail you can bring out of the raw images. I just stick with the 12 megapixel photos for my purposes. But if you plan to crop in or enlarge and print your photos, the 48 megapixel option is there. Another camera feature I think is interesting is a vertical mode. I personally don't use it as much, but it's a cool feature to have if you like posting photos and videos on social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube Shorts. And this is what they call true vertical, where the camera itself rotates 90 degrees to eliminate the need for cropping in on your larger image to fit the 9:16 ratio, which actually reduces the resolution. Now, I want to get to this. You don't know how much of a luxury it is to have just one remote with a screen and not having to fumble around with your phone to fly your drone. This setup makes it a lot easier to just get up and go. Just got finished catching this beautiful sunrise here at in Woodbridge off the Potomac, and meeting up with Corey and Darnell. Whew, there's a lot of gnats around here. Operation Kayak Rescue going on right here. All right, you ready? You ready to take the controls?
I'm
you
ready.
Sure you're not scared, man?
I'm scared, but you're forcing me. You're forcing me. Now this
Let me know.
This is nice. I like the transmitter.
Press the takeoff button there, or you can pull the sticks down on an angle like that.
Okay.
Like that.
All right, I'll do that.
Start it up. As long as you don't do that when it's mid-flight, because it'll shut down the it'll shut down the engines.
Yeah. Yeah, this screen is nice and bright, dude.
The DJI RC is a lightweight and less expensive version of the RC Pro. It has similar functionality as the RC Pro, but doesn't have all the features that it offers. It has two separate squirrel wheels, one for operating a gimbal and the other for camera zoom. And also it does have two programmable function buttons on the bottom. The screen on the DJI RC is rated at 700 nits. It's not as much as the RC Pro. However, the key point is that it doesn't dim when it gets hot, unlike most cell phones. With OcuSync 3 or O3, you should be able to get 10 to 12 kilometers using this remote. I've tested it out before. It does break up a little bit in some areas, but it depends on your area that you're flying in. I haven't taken it out to 10 to 12 kilometers, but whatever I use it for, it's good enough. All in all, my experience with the DJI RC is positive. I really don't have too much to say or negative to say about it. Only thing I probably could say is that the SD card is crazy difficult to get out, but other than that, there's nothing else I can say about it. And with recent updates, this controller is now compatible with the Mini 3, the Mavic 3 series, and the Air 2S. All right, how was your experience?
It sucks.
Oh, really?
It's a big difference from the old Xeno. The screen quality is just crazy. Doesn't dim out. And this transmitter is very light.
All right, so you're gonna spend the money now?
You recording audio?
So,
Insert bleeps. Oh, Corey, watch out. You good, you good.
I'm gonna try to catch a train. You good? That's it. It's gone. Did you record anything?
I'm getting it. Oh, I didn't press record.
I didn't press record.
Oh, rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
We'll catch the next one in an hour.
Opportunity missed.
Oh my gosh. That happens all the time. So the Mini 3 Pro comes packed with a lot of features. Not only does it have obstacle avoidance with APAS, it comes with a ton of intelligent flight features such as focus track, which includes spotlight mode, point of interest, and active track, which I have to say I am impressed with how well it works in combination with the obstacle avoidance. However, I do think it's necessary to say that it doesn't have side sensors, so you still have to be aware of obstacles when you're flying sideways or doing sideways tracking. It has master shots. This is where the Mini 3 Pro will execute a sequence of automated maneuvers, then generate a short cinematic video afterwards. It also has all the quick shots, panoramic photo mode, and then my favorite, the hyperlapse. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen my hyperlapse tutorials, you can go ahead and check them out right here or in the description below. And I should mention that all these features, with the exception of panoramic mode, I believe, are available in the vertical camera mode. So throughout this video, you've heard a lot of positive things about the Mini 3 Pro. And you're probably asking, are there any bad things with it? And in my opinion, not really. But there are a couple things that get on my nerves from time to time, but nothing that I would call a deal breaker. Now, one of the things is the SD card slot on the back of the drone and the DJI RC. There have been a few times where I've almost lost my SD card just by trying to take it in and out of the slot. Trying to get it out with just using your finger may not work unless you have long fingernails. Others have suggested using a tool or maybe just using another SD card to poke it out. Another thing, which is not really a bad thing, but I call it more of a disadvantage, is the fact that the drone is a lightweight drone, under 249 grams, and it is more susceptible to the wind than the other heavier drones such as the Air 2S or the Mavic 3. So you will have to be more mindful of the conditions that you fly in or the locations that you want to fly. And if you go into it knowing all that, you won't be disappointed when you're trying to fly your drone in a location like the Swiss Alps. Now, DJI has been pushing out a lot of firmware updates that improve the functionality of the Mini 3 Pro. So this is not the same drone that it was 6 months ago. It has become a nice beginner drone with professional qualities that you can easily travel with. Now, over the past 6 months, am I glad that I made the purchase? Am I happy with its performance? Yeah.